What I'm showing here is the particular steps and settings required to set up a Gigabyte motherboard to take Windows Server 2016 with RAID and be able to boot from the USB to do the install and be able to actually boot into the operating system after. For some reason, shouldn't be that difficult, but for some reason there's a lot of settings that have interplay between each other that need to be set just right, and it's taken me a fair amount of time to find those settings. So what I've done is I've recorded them here for you, but also primarily just quickly for myself if I come back to this again. So it's going to be pretty rough, but I hope you get something out of it. In particular, motherboard here is a Z270M D3H, but I imagine any other Gigabyte motherboard in the similar sort of family would probably be similar, or at least you'll get some information out of it. Alright, so I'll play the video now and talk you through on it. So basically what I've done is I've upgraded the Gigabyte motherboard to the very latest BIOS, which you'll see in a moment. That's 2018 is the very latest BIOS that I have available. So you see there the 9th of the 3rd 2018, so for me that's only about 3 months old. And starting over on the third setting from the top, across the top now, you see we're setting Windows 8.10 features to Other OS. The Pixie or Network Boot options just disabled. That's kind of irrelevant for this. So the Storage Boot Control option is Legacy, and Other PCI devices is also Legacy. Going across to the peripherals here now, you'll note that the Easy RAID thing, if you go into it, actually says RAID is turned off, which is not the case. Not quite sure what's going on there, but that's fine, leave it turned off. Just ignore this step. Off-board serial ATA controller, irrelevant. USB configuration though, you want to make sure that legacy USB support is turned on or enabled. And you can see there my USB device is showing, but that's again irrelevant for that. While I'm in here, I'm just turning the Intel virtualization on if not already. You'll need that for Hyper-V. Also disabling the audio controller. I don't care about audio on my servers. Again, irrelevant for this, but I've just set the AC to on, so that if the power comes back on, so it will automatically turn on. Okay, back to peripherals, and the setting we're after is the serial ATA and RST configuration down the bottom, and the serial ATA controllers need to be on, of course. But the serial ATA mode selection will need to be changed from AHCI to Intel RST, which also pops up some other settings. You see there the use RST Legacy OROM option that needs to be enabled to enable you to get into the legacy RAID options by going Control I. Save and exit. It will restart. BIOS, which is Control I, into the RAID configuration, sorry, but it happens too quickly and I end up going through and missing that, but that's just worth you knowing. I'll restart it and do what I needed to do properly. Okay, just restarting again. This time I do catch it. Control I goes into the RAID configuration utility, And as that happens, I've already set up RAID 10 here, but this is where you add your disks to whatever RAID array you want and leave whatever disks you want out. So we'll just exit here in a moment, restart, and we'll boot from the USB, which is the Windows install USB. F12 to get to the boot menu. A little bit hard to see just because of the very high contrast. I'm trying to shoot it in a darkened room, but you see there I just select SanDisk, which is just the name of my USB drive. Yours will differ, obviously. And then the Windows Server install routine starts up. Nothing much to see here. Just go through, select your language, step through till you get to the point of selecting the hard drives. So you can see here we have two blank disks. The 250 gig is the SSD for Windows boot, and the 4 terabyte is the RAID array. So we're going to install on the SSD for Windows. Data will be on the RAID array, and basically it just goes through its process and then restarts, and you're into Windows. And that concludes the information here. I hope that helps you out, and it'll certainly help me when I come back in 2 years' time to reinstall something on another Gigabyte motherboard and I have to spend hours working out why it won't run.